people can't think for themselves, and people need to be careful of whether what somebody is stating is actually something to be used as education or used as entertainment. So we're actually going to talk about something I deem to be a pretty massive problem within the fitness industry. Well, and I want you to bear with me because you're probably going to misinterpret this initially. So at any point in this video, if you actually learn something from the video, or maybe actually in this case, agree with what I'm saying, I'd appreciate it if you did click the button down below to subscribe to the channel. But again, only if you agree with what I'm saying, or at least some of it. So with the rise of social media and the rise of short form platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels and things like that, a lot of influencers have become very popular and very credible within the fitness realm. You've got individuals like Sam Sulek, you've got the Trend Twins, which are the two primary ones I'm going to discuss today, that have basically managed to get massive audiences, assumingly with a lot of younger men following their lead and being inspired by them to work out. Fantastic, love that. But something that I see very commonly now, not only online, but also actually around the gym in public in some cases, is how many people, especially the younger individuals, haven't developed the maturity perhaps to think for themselves and create their own persona and follow their own lead and take what people say with a grain of salt rather than following it as gospel. The Trend Twins, for example, are very open about their drug use, their performance enhancing drug use, where they're very open about taking anabolics and stuff, which I really actually do appreciate within reason. 10 years ago, or whatever it was, speaking about performance enhancing drugs, steroids and whatnot was so shunned. No one really did it online. You had a few big names like Rich Piana, Boston Lloyd, etc. who spoke openly about their use, but beyond that, no one really spoke about it, and people either didn't say anything about it at all, which I respect, or they claimed they were natural when they were not, which I do not respect. Over time, it became a lot less taboo. People started opening up about it, speaking about it, and being a lot more vulnerable when it came to admitting what they were doing to help them get to where they were. And although that's great and I really appreciate it, one thing that no one really predicted that did then begin to happen is that people started normalizing it. And people then started assuming that going on performance enhancing drugs was something that everybody should do, especially when they're new to the gym and they want to accelerate their progress as quickly as possible. Again, I always say it's your body, your choice, do what's best for you. I do think at a certain point you have to identify a couple of things. Is one, are you experienced enough to even consider that? And two, are you mature or old enough to even consider that? A couple of years ago, I had a 17-year-old man come up to me and say, Harry, can I speak to you about something? I'd never met him before in my life, but he knew of me from the gym and he wanted my opinion. So I was like, sure. He said, look, I want to go on anabolic steroids. Can I have your opinion? I said, how old are you? He said, I'm 17. I said, no. I said, you haven't earned the right to even consider this. He said, what do you mean? I said, when you pass your driving test, you don't get a Lamborghini straight away because likely you probably can't afford it, but also you don't know how to drive well enough to control a car with that much power. You're not mature enough or responsible or experienced enough to do that. You have to earn the right to have a car that is that fast and powerful. And by earning the right, I mean you have to learn how to control a car that's not that powerful. And I said to him, at 17 years old, do you really think you've earned the right and you're experienced enough in the realm of training when you've been training 6 months to make a potentially lifelong decision? And I said to him, one day you're going to fall in love with a woman and she's going to be the best thing that's ever happened to you. You love her more than life itself. You're going to get married and she's going to come to you and say, I want to start a family. This is something she's dreamed of for so many years and she's going to want to start that family with you. And you're then going to realize potentially, as this is a consideration, that due to a decision you made at 17, you can't give her what she wants because you're now infertile due to abusing performance enhancing drugs when you were younger. And then she's going to leave you. She's going to leave you for somebody who can give her what she wants, can give her the family she's dreamt of. And I said, at 17 years old, do you really think you're old enough and mature enough to make that decision right now? He said, oh, fair enough, good point. 2 weeks later, jumped on the drugs anyway, so it was irrelevant, but I digress, I tried. The thing is, it was a prime example of somebody who had watched maybe individuals like the Trend Twins who were very open about it, and suddenly he wasn't scared anymore. It was normalized. When I was coming into the industry, although people knew of it to an extent, people were scared of it. People were scared of taking steroids because it was so taboo, but not anymore. And again, there's a pro and a con there. It's great that people are speaking about it and being open about what they're doing, fantastic, but it's still something that's bloody scary. It's still something that's playing with your hormones that could have a lifelong effect on you that you can't predict because, quite frankly, you don't know how it's going to impact you. Then, like I said, you have two kind of sides of the coin here. You've got someone like Sam Sulek, who's obviously enhanced, and he has mentioned briefly in videos that he's enhanced.
I main gained for a long time, and now I've been bulking for a while too. Even though those two situations they're not exactly comparable, and I think you know the reason why.
But he chooses not to speak about it, doesn't promote it, doesn't go on about it. Fantastic, respect that. His big mentality is just find what you enjoy and train bloody hard. And sure, he may not lift the best in many people's eyes, but at the end of the day, he looks happy, he seems happy, and in the grand scheme of things, the message he's promoting is pretty good if you ask me, which is just go to the gym, enjoy it, train hard. Things that all of us should probably take into account, because many of us probably don't train hard enough. Many of us also forget to enjoy it sometimes, when quite frankly going to the gym and embarking on this little adventure in the fitness realm is a privilege that many people unfortunately don't have, but luckily we do. Then you flip to the other end of the spectrum where you have individuals like the Trend Twins. They're characters. They are just characters, and that's funny because I'm old enough and experienced enough in the industry to be able to watch them and be like, haha, that's funny, but I'm not going to take what you say seriously. I'm going to laugh at it and use it as entertainment, but I'm not going to use it as education. They'll say, don't go on steroids at 15, wait until you're 16.
Should I take MK667 at 15? Yes. Who cares? Do it. Don't listen to your parents. Don't listen to doctors. Listen to two guys on the internet telling you to take MK667. Look, no, you should not be taking MK667 at 15. I'd wait until you're 16, at least.
As a joke, most likely. But again, I'm old enough to be like, haha, that's a joke, that was quite funny. A lot of people aren't. And the kind of thing I'm trying to kind of push across here is one of the issues we're facing in the industry that I'm now noticing, especially on TikTok, is the fact that, like I said, people can't think for themselves, and people need to be careful of whether what somebody is stating is actually something to be used as education or used as entertainment. Quick intermission, throw it out there. Link down below, you've got the links for a few things. You can click the link to apply to work with myself on a one-to-one online coaching basis. You can click the link to download any of the TFNL workout guides. You can also join the TFNL group coaching platform, where you can basically follow a program and get guidance on that program set by myself for either gym workouts or home workouts, depending on where you'd rather train. So as always, all of those things are linked down below, so have a gander if you're bored. And beyond that, originality is gone. I've seen so many people I know personally, who try to mimic and replicate and copy essentially the Trend Twins with very similar names, trying to perform similar acts of entertainment online just because, oh, they do it, they're funny, I can do it too. Do your own thing. Make your own personality online. It's really hard when you see a lot of younger people make decisions that you feel like they're probably going to regret one day. Make decisions that they're quite frankly not experienced enough or educated enough to make. Make decisions to copy somebody else's entertainment value or somebody else's USP just because they want to be like them. It's not necessarily because they think what they're doing is the best thing ever. It's because I think, quite frankly, they actually just don't really have a massive identity of self, as many of us didn't at that age, in fairness, when we're teenagers. A lot of us do not have a great identity of self, and they're trying to almost replicate the people they admire to become them, to be versions of them, because they think that's what I wish I could be. When in reality, just be you. And quite frankly, for some people watching this who might be in that bracket, you may not know who that is. That's fine. You're not expected to. I'm well beyond my teenage years, and sometimes I struggle with identifying who I am. I struggle with my identity of self. But what I don't struggle with is identifying and separating, I should say, that when I see something online, it doesn't need to be taken as gospel. I can take it with a grain of salt and be like, haha, that's funny, but I'm not going to take that on board as education, which many people are struggling with. So if you are in that bracket, or even if you have kids potentially who might be entering that realm of social media, it's key to note that I don't necessarily think it's the creators and the influencers' fault here. Like I said, I really like Sam Sulek. I think he promotes a fantastic message. I really like the Trend Twins. Although they don't promote a fantastic message, I'm old enough to know that they're just really funny and I laugh at them. It's just key to note that be wary of who you're watching and who your children may be watching. Sometimes it's not necessarily about blaming the influencers or the creators. Sometimes it's about acknowledging perhaps the consumers simply lack the experience and maturity to know better, which is something maybe we should encourage, teaching people to be their own person, but also teaching people to take things lightly and not assume everything that people say online is the best way, is fact, and is gospel. That's just a random waffle that came to my mind that I wanted to address, as I've seen lots of things on the old social media machine. But regardless, I'd love to hear your opinions on the matter in the comment section below. Thank you for tolerating me. Thank you for tolerating my waffle. That won't be a waffle next time. There'll be a workout footage in the next video. And thank you for tolerating the video.